Most people don't send kissy faces to people that are extorting money out of them. I mean, she was taking your money.
Again, Ms. Cappelman, she was not extorting me at the time.
That's not how it's done, is it?
I'm telling you how it was done.
So then over these next 2 years, you would meet her monthly and hand over a bundle of checks and $3,000 in cash, right?
No, you're wrong.
Okay, tell me.
I would hand over $2,000 in cash and a bundle of checks.
$2,000 in cash and a bundle of checks. And so over the course of 2 years, I'm terrible at math, but that's roughly how much money? Because I...
Okay, to Georgia's point, Charlie, if she's not extorting you, if you don't believe she's the extortionist, why are you handing over $2,000 a month and a bundle of checks? If you believe she was not the extortionist at that time, you were handing this person the money. So what role do you logically think that she has within this? You think that she was drug into this because you told her about the $1 million offer that your family was going to make to Dan Markel, but then for some reason you feel like she's not involved in the extortion when she's the one taking the money from you? I don't understand his like obviously we know he's lying, but I don't understand how he could even think that would be a plausible lie.
think I did $3,000. It's $48,000 in cash, in addition to the $138,000 you provided the night of. Do you agree with that?
If your math is correct, I'm just telling you what I paid her each month.
And the checks, which is another $17,000, right?
You're doing the math.
Okay. It was a lot of money. Was it a lot of money to you?
It was a lot of money to me, yeah. I work hard.
Did the extortionists, whoever they were, ever try to increase the payments or come for more money?
The extortion never went up, and Katie was always broke. And that's what led me to think that she was not a part of this, because she could have easily jacked up the payments.
Well, she's sharing $3,000 a month with a bunch of other people, right? At least one other person.
I didn't think she was sharing it. Why is she coming to me for $300 for her kid's birthday?
Because she's broke.
Because she wasn't getting any of the money.
Half of $3,000 doesn't do much when you're living in Miami with 2 kids to feed, right?
I didn't think she was sharing anything.
Well, even if she was sharing, if that's your point, she must not have been taking the money because she was broke. And my point is, she could have been taking half the money and been broke.
That's not how I saw it.
That's not a lot of money.
That's not how I saw it.
Tell me about Dan Markel a little bit. So what Charlie is saying is that Katherine Magbanua wasn't taking, he says Katherine Magbanua wasn't taking the money because she was always broke and always asking him for money. But what Georgia is saying, yeah, $3,000 a month is not that much money in Miami with 2 kids to feed. And that's very true as well. So Charlie, obviously, if you're handing somebody the money, you're going to think they're not getting their own cut out of it to be the conduit between you and the Latin kings. It doesn't make sense. And Charlie, aside from this moment, I know he seems like an idiot. He is somewhat intelligent. He has a fast thinking brain, and he can kind of put pieces of the puzzle together to create the picture. So him playing dumb in this moment of, oh, well, I don't know why she didn't have any money. I figured she was broke, and that's why I kept helping her out, and that's why I wanted to keep doing favors for her, because she wasn't involved in the extortion. Okay, Charlie.
You sort of said, what I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, was he was, a nice enough guy, typical Wendi boyfriend, but not really your kind of guy.
Yeah, I think it's an accurate description.
All right. Do you agree that he was this brilliant legal mind?
I think he was a little nerdy, nice guy. Just kind of like the average guy that my sister dated.
Not the kind of guy you want to have a beer with, though.
We never had a beer together. I mean, not that I wouldn't have had a beer if he wanted to have one. We just didn't have that much in common, but he was always nice to me.
Do you appreciate the fact that his death was a terrible loss to his sons?
It was horrible.
Do you think they were better off without him?
Absolutely not.
Did you host a celebration dinner after his murder?
That's a complete lie.
On the wire, would you agree that the Markel boys were in the background pretty much of every call you had with your mom, and you hear them a lot, right?
My sister was working, so my parents would help my sister out, yeah.
Yeah, and it was summertime, so they were out of school, I would assume.
I don't know if it was every call, but they definitely helped my sister out for sure.
All right, and those calls captured Donna pushing them on the swings, that call that tortured all of us a couple times. Remember that one?
Yeah, there was a call where she was pushing them on the swings.
Taking them to tennis lessons.
That was the same day. I mean, that was the same call that got broken up and she called me back, but yes.
Doing their bedtime routine.
Helping my sister out for sure.
Reading stories, brushing teeth, getting haircuts, going to piano, story time and bedtime, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all stuff that parents and grandparents do, you're right.
All right, she even said to you on one of the calls regarding the bedtime routine that, quote, we have a whole routine going. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So, to Georgia's point, she's building the stage for the motive. 100% the Adelsons thought that the two young boys that they were fighting for custody over were better off without Dan Markel. We know this because why else would you offer someone $1 million to go away and not be part of their child's life? You somehow think that you are the better option to be the caregiver or the, parental figure in that child's life, in those children's lives. So it's clear and evident by the $1 million offer.
I have a whole routine with my son. I mean, I think it's normal with kids. You have a routine to put them to bed.
Right.
You
All the
brush
kind of
your teeth.
things.
Can't forget to brush your teeth.
All the yeah. Well, dental humor couldn't hurt, right?
What's that?
All the things that your mom wouldn't have been able to do as readily if the kids were living in Tallahassee. Agree with that?
I mean, when they come up to visit them, they'd be doing the same thing.
Sure, when they came up to visit, but now they're doing it every day, right? Almost every day.
Not every day, but when my sister needed them, she helped them out.
And these are all things, these little routine things that Dan Markel will never be able to do with his sons. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Does your mom have a favorite child?
As I'm thinking about this, I might slow it down a little bit because we missed Charlie's joke about can't forget to brush your teeth, and they're talking about the bedtime routine, and he does a little dental humor joke, and Georgia Cappelman's like little I can't say dental, the little dental humor never hurts, and then he's like, what's that? And it's like, Charlie, stop. Um, but this actually just occurred to me. I I believe, like, okay, so we know Donna is a helicopter mom. Like, she was a helicopter mom always with the children. Their oldest son, I would love to get into that maybe in the last interrogation if we have time, or the last part of the cross-examination. If we have time, we'll get into the story with the eldest son. But he doesn't talk to them. He does not talk to the Adelsons. He doesn't, as far as I understand, he doesn't talk to his siblings either, but he definitely doesn't talk to Donna, and he doesn't talk to Harvey. And the reason why is because the Adelsons are, I want to say it's Donna, but I feel like Harvey has a hand in it. Whether he's enabling Donna to be this helicopter mom, or he's a part of it because he's footing the bill for it, for a lot of these things, he's withholding the money while Donna's saying, you better do this or do that, or we're not going to be a part of your life. We won't give you money. We won't do this. So I, as I'm thinking about it now, I believe that because the children are older, they're no longer children, they're all adults. Charlie, Wendi, and the eldest, they're all living their own lives. And for Donna to have younger children to be able to control and manipulate and care for, it gave her a sense of purpose. I'm sure when she initially became an empty nester, it was very difficult for her. And that is why she kept meddling in her children's personal business, because she did not want to be removed from their lives like that. She wanted to still have some control over their lives. So, as I'm watching this now, like, I'm surprised this hasn't occurred to me before, or maybe it has, but it's occurring to me now that Donna did not want to relinquish that control, just not just the control over Wendi, but the control in general, of being a uh, a caregiver. She wanted to still have that. She still, there's people, it's almost like a Munchausen kind of by proxy thing, where it's like you want your kid to be sick for attention. It's not the same thing, but it's like, I want I want you to need me. I want you to I want to have to take care of you. So I think that that was a huge motivator for Donna, maybe even Harvey, but I'm going to definitely say Donna, to push for Dan's murder, because then she can have everyone she wants. She can have Wendi, she can have the kids. Everyone's going to be around Donna. Mm-mm-mm.
She says she doesn't have favorites, but I don't think she likes my older brother.
Okay. But is Wendi the favorite?
Um, I'd like to think it's a tie between me and her.
Does your mom worry more about Wendi than you?
Mm,
Also, really quick, I want to let him get this out, but what Georgia Cappelman said is, does your mom have favorites? And then his first thing is, I don't think she has favorites, but I don't think she likes my older brother. And the reason why she doesn't like the older brother is because she can't manipulate him. And the fact that he kind of smirks when he says that, it's kind of like, well, yeah, I'm the good one. You know, we have a close relationship. And then he says he thinks it's a tie between him and Wendi. But really, I think Charlie thinks he's his mother's favorite. And I would say so as well, because their relationship is absolutely sick.
Let's
I don't
do
really get.
before this case.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't. I think maybe in different parts of my life, she's probably more concerned about me. Different parts of my sister's life, she may be more concerned about her.
Is it true that your mom has a tendency to worry herself sick if there's something going on with one of you kids?
No, I mean, she's a concerned mom, but I think she's a normal mom.
Was she pretty worried about Wendy's marital problems?
No,
She wasn't.
I think no. I think she'd get upset when my sister would tell her things that Danny was doing and going to work and bad mouthing her. But I think any parent would get upset.
But also she would meticulously go through all the filings and send long emails detailing her thoughts about every filing in this divorce.
No, I don't think that's the case at all.
Okay. Did she hate Dan Markel?
I think she liked him in the beginning, for sure. And I think when he was being a jerk to my sister, I don't think anyone particularly liked him when he was being a jerk.
What about the time around the time that he was killed? Did your mother hate Dan Markel?
No, I think it kind of like tapered off. I think she only disliked him when he was being mean to my sister. Other than that, nobody had a problem
He
with
was
him.
being mean to your sister during these divorce proceedings and subsequent litigation, right?
I think it was on and off. I think it was sporadic.
And when your mom's worried about Wendi, does she come to you for solutions or to talk things out?
No, I don't think worried is the right word to describe it.
Does she ever make Wendy's problems your problems?
No.
Like convincing you to get Wendi to pull the plug on the house on Halloween 2013? Didn't she convince you to sort of take up that cause?
No, that was actually me. I thought I shared my thoughts on homeownership for my sister. That was all me.
Charlie's lying. He's lying through his teeth. He knows that his mother is one, make Wendy's problems his problems in the sense that he's the older brother. He has to do cleanup for his little sister and take care of her. And everyone kind of babies Wendi in the family. Like Wendi isn't capable, or it's like, oh, poor little Wendi. It's like, and I don't think that it's a poor little Wendi, obviously. I think she knows, she very well knew what happened. She was part of it, but they treat her in this way, like she's not capable. And I think it's just because she's the youngest and she's been babied her whole life. But Charlie even says, and I think George is going to mention this in just a bit, how Wendi doesn't appreciate everything we've done for her. Or he might have said everything I've done for her or we've done for her. I think he was talking to Donna at the time, so I want to say he said we've done for her. And it's like, well, what have you done for her? If you are not taking on her problems, if you are not going above and beyond, what have you done for her? Like, really, what have you done for her? And he can't really say.
Didn't you say that if she had bought that house, that would have been the second worst decision of Wendy's life?
I thought it was going to be a stupid decision to buy that house.
And what was the first worst decision of Wendy's life?
Oh, I thought looking at hindsight 2020, I think when she'd agreed when she married Dan.
And did you convince her to take a particular job as well? Remember that call?
Yeah, she got an offer from a law firm, and she was debating whether or not she should take it. She didn't know if it was exactly what she wanted to do. And I was like, hey, you don't know what you don't like doing until you've done it. Seems like a great opportunity. Like, why not do it? Learn the job skill. It's a skill you don't. She's like, well, I don't have that skill. And I'm like, well, it's a good opportunity to learn it, and you may like it. And if you don't like it, then try something else. But I was trying to encourage her to take what sounded like a great opportunity.
And Mom shared your thoughts, and I'm referring to Donna Adelson, shared your thoughts about this opportunity being a good one for Wendi, right?
I probably heard about the job from my mom, but I definitely heard about it from my sister because I'm talking to my sister about it.
Yeah, I mean, the job was not what she had any experience in, right? It was a whole other field of law.
Then that was my point. It was like, well, why not take it if they're offering it to you and you can learn something new? It sounds like a great opportunity.
Do you and Donna know what's best for Wendi better than she knows herself?
No, but not at all.
Were you a spy when it came to Wendi? Did you get information from from Wendi and relay it?
I only laugh because he goes, no, and then he wants to say, but, because Charlie is a big but person. Like he always has to interject something. I will say this, although Georgia completely demolishes him on the stand, he still does fairly well on the stand considering the circumstances. I will give him that. He does fairly well for him for who he is innately. Innately, Charlie can't shut up. He cannot shut up. There'll probably be a couple, like a handful of calls that I maybe handpick so we can review because Charlie cannot shut up. These wiretap calls or the jailhouse calls are ridiculous because you can hear how he cannot shut up. So I will say kudos to Charlie in this moment for realizing, let me shut up. And that's why I say he is somewhat intelligent because he has the mental capacity to say, let me shut up, compared to a Robert Tellis, digress, who cannot shut up and literally talked himself into a conviction. But Charlie, although I'm trying to think, Charlie had to take the stand because there was just so much evidence against him. It's like you have to explain this. But I think I do think that he stopped himself in that moment. He was about to say, but, and it's like, let me keep my mouth shut. Good job, Charlie, on that.
To Donna.
At times, because I was dating Bree, and Bree worked for Dave, so I would hear stuff about Dave from Bree, so I kind of had an inside. I got inside information.
In what capacity did Bree work for Dave?
Dave was his. After she graduated from college, she was working as a nanny for Dave.
All right. And how old was Bree during the time you were dating her? Was she significantly younger than you?
She was 24, and I was 39.
Is Bree the mother of your child?
She is the mother of my child, yeah.
All right, so back to Wendi and Donna. So Wendi, was she tight-lipped with Donna about her private life?
I don't think she shared everything.
But she would tell things to you that she wouldn't tell to Donna.
I can't say that.
And Charlie, stop lying. You know that Wendi would keep things from Donna. Going back to what I said earlier, because Donna's a helicopter mother. And there's certain things, if you tell her one thing, it turns into this whole thing. She wants to control your life, give you advice on this and that. And it's like at a certain point, you just want to make decisions on your own. So Wendi was trying to get to that point of just like, I'm not telling mom everything. As my brother, I'll tell you, like, okay, we're doing this or that. But then Charlie would be the one to run back to Donna and tell Donna all the tea because he and he and Donna had that sick relationship. It was like there has to be between siblings. I have my own siblings. I don't know how you guys have your sibling relationship, but I do think between siblings, especially as adults, not when you're necessarily teenagers and maybe your siblings getting into something they shouldn't be getting into, especially as adults, you should be able to have a relationship with your siblings where it's like, hey, don't tell mom and dad about this. I'm whatever, like you should be able to have that. And the fact that Wendi couldn't have that with her only sibling that she did still talk to is really sad. And I wonder if, Wendi not if Wendi didn't tell Charlie as much, would this have even this murder have occurred? I say yes because Donna was still meddling into her marriage, but I will say it seems like Wendi stopped telling Donna as much after the murder of Dan Markel. I think she realized, let me stop, let me stop giving her so much because then she might try to murder the next one. It's like, who knows?
For sure.
Can you play clip 1, please? Publishing call EEE. EEE. Please.
Really quick. So this is Charlie's attorney, Dan. Dan is his name. And I will say this also about Dan. I will give him his flowers. I forget his last name, it's a little bit long, but I will give him his flowers. There was a point in the trial where I was like, wait a minute, did they do it? Like, there was a point where I questioned it. I want to say maybe it was during closing. He did the puzzle pieces. I'm a good visual person. He did the puzzle pieces. And I was like, wait a minute. He did, considering what he was up against and all the evidence against them, I will say Dan did a decent job. He did a very decent job with that. So kudos to him as well.
Yeah, would you? That'd be great. Please go to 209.
On this way, just hop off there and fast. Anyway, so I just spoke to David now.
Oh, did you?
So I just called him an old fart. Everybody, she's a few months older than me. But so I asked him when for his birthday. Turns out Wendy's making him a little party in Fleetwood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Wendy goes like very tight-lipped.
You're not kidding.
So what you need to do is, she's obviously tight-lipped for a reason. It's because she doesn't want you to know anything.
Anything.
So my point is, if she doesn't want you to know anything, then don't ask anything.
I don't
She'll
know.
be happy,
Yeah.
and then I can find everything out and just tell you.
I know. It's great.
So I was like, so what are you doing for your birthday? It's like, well, Wendy's making me like a little birthday dinner, a little get-together party. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, she's doing it. He's like, I don't know anything. All I know is Wendy's putting it together for me, and she's doing it in Woodwood.
Aww.
So I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome.
All I knew is that she was going straight from work to the hotel where everybody is meeting for the this Miami Fellows thing that she got, and that she was going to be here tonight because it starts early first thing tomorrow morning.
Right.
I guess in between she managed to do something else, which makes me happy. I'm really glad.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't imagine. Oh,
So,
yeah, he sounded good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember yesterday since you were telling a story about Katie coming in from having had some kind of altercation with Garcia, and
I love how Georgia just kind of plays that clip and then is like moving on, just to discredit what Charlie had previously said in terms of like, oh no, I'm not like, I wouldn't tell her everything, or I'm not like always running back. It's like, yes, you did. You guys were just obsessively talking about Wendi and her personal life. It was like the talk of the town. Why were you guys so obsessed with Wendy's life? It's because they just saw Wendi as like a little pawn. And anything that happened in Wendy's life, it's like, oh, how can we control it? How can we look into it? How can we be nosy about it? And it's like, you're just sharing their dinner plans. And that was so exciting for Donna to know the dinner plans that she's planning with her boyfriend. It's just weird stuff. Why? Why is that so important? And I love also, I just want to say, I love that they have transcripts for all the calls, because it's like you couldn't take, for the jury, they couldn't take the transcripts back into the deliberation room. But just having the transcripts there, like they were meticulous with these wiretaps.
she had reported that the necklace had been pulled off her neck. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And when you were relaying that story to the jury, you used a specific term describing what Garcia had done to her. Do you remember what that term was?
It was only yesterday, but you'll have to refresh my memory how I described it.
You said he roughed her up.
That's accurate.
And that put my antenna up, because that roughed them up is the exact same phrase that Katherine Magbanua said in her proffer that you used on Halloween 2013 when you first approached her about, does she know anyone who can rough someone up?
No, I think getting roughed up is an adjective, but what you're doing is the same thing you did with your TV theory. Is like you heard TV mentioned multiple times, so you put the whole case together with the TV.
Okay,
and you're
we'll get
putting
to
the
the
whole case
TV.
together with the word roughed up. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not putting the
some-
whole case together.
One moment. Don't speak over each other.
But that's
Please
an
wait for him to answer, then you can ask your next question. Go ahead.
But that's an unusual. I mean, you know, it's a specific term. I'm not making a whole case out of it. But did you say roughed up in both places?
Katie was roughed up by Sigfredo when he tore the necklace off of her neck. Yes.
And isn't that the same term you used when you first broached Katherine Magbanua about did she know someone who could rough up someone else?
Never in my life have I ever asked her that question. Never in my life. That conversation never took place.
Did you ever hear Donna Adelson refer to Dan Markel as stupid?
No.
Were you laughing when Wendi was on the stand and I read all the names that Donna referred to Dan Markel as?
No, I laughed when you said the word fucker in court.
Okay. What did she mean when she...
Charlie, why, like, first, Donna, excuse me, Georgia's doing her thing right now, just doing topic after topic, and Charlie can't keep it straight. I love when prosecution will go from subject to subject, and you can't keep it straight as the person on the stand. It's like an interrogation, but your brain is trying to think of all the different lies, and it's hard to keep it straight. So that's why I think she's questioning in this manner. So kudos to Miss Cappelman yet again. But Charlie, why are you trying to deny that first you used this terminology, which we know you did because that's how he talks, you know, like he referenced even the roughed up, and you know what, let me just continue.
She said Dan Markel was trying to take her sunshines away. Do you know?
No.
That's what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. So he's in the courtroom laughing when Georgia Cappelman said, when they used the F word, or I shouldn't use quotes, they did use the F word, and he's in there cracking up. Like, did she call him a fucker? Did she call him this? Did she use little Nazi? Did she say little Nazis? And he's over there cracking up because he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world how his mom talked about Dan, because they would do it together. And I'm sorry, at the murder trial, that Charlie, that's when he couldn't contain himself. That's the Charlie I was just referencing earlier. He can't contain himself sometimes. He just talks too much and he has these emotions. Charlie, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh when you're talking about the murder victim being a fucker. Your mother called him that. That is not the time to laugh. Please don't. That's completely inappropriate.
Never said that.
Oh, so you never heard her say
that was made up, and he put it in a court filing, and then now it becomes something that my mom said because someone made it up and put it in a court filing. My mom never said that.
Did your mom refer to the children as her sunshines?
No, the kids were 3 and 4. A 3 and 4-year-old can't repeat a conversation and remember words 6 hours later and repeat it accurately. I have a 5-year-old son.
Lie. Lie, lie, lie. Children are parrots, especially around 3 and 4. Especially around 3 and 4. They are absolute parrots. They will, any word you say, and it's like later, it's like they'll repeat it like a week later. It's like, where did you get that from? It's like, I don't know exactly how their brain works, obviously, but we're all human here. And they can remember. They can remember and they can repeat. So without a doubt, Donna said to those little boys, Dan is taking, your father, or, you know, daddy's taking my little sunshines away, or however she phrased it. I 100% believe that. I don't think the children are making that up. I don't think Dan Markel made that up. I think that was something that Donna said. That sounds like a Donna statement.
Never seen a 3 and 4-year-old do that, so it was made up. and now you're repeating it.
Okay. Have you been a good brother to Wendi?
I always try to be a good brother.
It sounds like maybe you're not agreeing that this was a really nasty divorce, or are you agreeing it was a nasty divorce?
I mean, I don't think any divorces can be pleasant, but I think they definitely had their fights. I mean, they were fighting over bicycles and all kinds of crap.
But in addition to that, Dan Markel accused your sister of fraud, right?
He made an accusation, yeah.
Threatened her with federal kidnapping charges?
Oh, that's a new one. You just told me.
That one's in the emails that are in evidence. Did you review those?
I didn't review the federal kidnapping charges in this case.
Was seeking contempt proceedings. You heard about that here in court, yes?
I heard about that, yeah.
Even went after her lawyer personally, right?
He made serious threats against her lawyer.
And her bar card could have been in jeopardy if any of those, or some of them.
I heard the other day she was saying that, I guess her lawyer, he was threatening her lawyer's bar card.
Her lawyer's bar card as well as Wendy's.
He was making lots of threats and writing lots of stuff, I guess.
And he messed with your mom too, didn't he, in that grandma motion? You know which one I'm talking about?
I don't think he was messing with my mom. I mean, nobody took that seriously. I don't think anyone even knew about it.
Isn't your mom... I'm sorry, finish.
I said I don't think anyone even knew about it until years later.
Isn't your mom notorious for always getting worked up about everything?
She gets upset. I mean, she's a concerned mom. I mean,
but is she notorious for getting really worked up about everything?
To a certain extent. I mean,
aren't those your own words from Call S that's in evidence in this case?
Yeah, those are my words, but you can't, honestly, not to an extreme, but she does worry, especially when, like, Latin King gang members are extorting her for money.
Did your mom take the grandma motion seriously?
I don't think she even knew about it.
She didn't talk to you about it?
No. I didn't find out about it until years later.
Wait, that just kind of made me think. So, your mom does get worked up when Latin King gang members are extorting her for money. Okay, but he's saying when the 2014 extortion happened, he didn't believe it was Latin King. Who did he think was extorting him then? At that time, who was extorting you in 2014? If you know Katherine Magbanua, and you're saying Katherine Magbanua was not extorting you. Okay, fine. So who was extorting you? Who was extorting you then? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Because that doesn't make any sense, Charlie. If your mother gets worked up when Latin King gang members are extorting her, but you were being extorted from back then, which Donna had to know about because she was issuing the checks from the Adelson Institute. Who was extorting you then? It wasn't Latin Kings, and it wasn't Katherine Magbanua. Who was it then? Catherine's friends? These imaginary people you've never seen? It's like when you listen to it again, it's like, Charlie, that doesn't make any sense. I know none of this makes sense, but it's like even more so it doesn't make sense.
Wasn't this divorce a big deal in your family?
It didn't affect my life, I can tell you that. So I don't think that's true. I think it was a big deal in my sister's life.
Why did Wendi testify that she was getting along well with Dan Markel just prior to his death? Can we agree that's not true?
I think there were ups and downs in how they got along. You got to ask her. She was on the stand. I mean, I wasn't living her life.
Is it part of your defense to minimize how nasty and contentious this divorce was?
No, my defense is to tell the truth.
Did you have any input on the decision to change the boys' names from Markel to Adelson?
Absolutely not.
Do you and Donna have to protect Wendi?
No.
Does Wendi appreciate everything you and Donna do for her?
You got to ask her. I mean, she's my sister. I love her. I try to give her my best advice I can.
And that's another thing. So they changed the children's names almost like immediately from Markel to Adelson. It's like they were just trying to erase Dan Markel's existence from their lives. Like the children would never ask, like, hey, who's my father? Like they would never find out that their father was murdered. It's so sad.
I care about her, and I give her my advice. Whether she takes it or not is up to her. She's a grown woman.
Let me ask it another way. Do you feel, or isn't it true that you don't feel, that Wendi appreciates everything you and Donna do for her?
My sister had no idea what I've been through in the last God knows how many years, and what I wake up worrying, am I going to get killed? Am I going to get arrested? And she knows none of it. She's just going around her life, and I had somewhat of an innate anger towards her. Mm-hmm. You know, probably unjust because she didn't know what happened. But yeah, I was upset.
And weren't you saying on the wire that she doesn't appreciate what you and Donna have done for her?
I don't know if I said that she doesn't appreciate what I've done for her, because I never did anything for her.
Okay, so that was my next question. What have you done for her? Nothing?
Other than give her advice and care about her, be a big brother that loves her.
Would you say Wendy's a little bit spoiled?
In some regards, I mean, she gets a lot of help, for sure.
Is she a little less savvy about how the world works than you are?
I don't know. I mean, you gotta ask her.
Could you trust Wendi with a secret that could ruin your life?
It's not a secret. It's something that would get me killed, so I didn't want to tell her.
Can we agree that she obviously knew something about this crime?
She found out when she came to court. I never told her anything.
I'm talking about the murder of Dan Markel. She knew something.
Does not make any sense. If I was being extorted for the murder of my sister's husband, first of all, I wouldn't pay for that, because why would I? Like, why would I pay for that? Granted, they said they were going to kill you if you didn't pay within 48 hours, but then they put you on a payment plan. But why would I not tell my sister who the murderer of, that I know that they're the murderer of her husband and the father of her children? I know who potentially murdered him. I know who was involved. Why wouldn't I go to the police with that? It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to pay for that extortion unless it was an extortion and it was a hit. There's no reason to pay because they told you they were going to murder you within 48 hours. Okay, they didn't. Charlie.
Right? I mean, it's not a coincidence she went to the crime scene, is it?
You're talking about the route that she took that day?
I'm talking about her pulling up to the crime scene tape.
She never went to the crime scene. She was going to buy a bottle of liquor that, coincidentally, the person sent her a stock the bar party for buy a bottle of bullet bourbon that she was going to pick up. She wasn't driving to a crime scene. And I think she made that clear, too. Nobody knew.
100% Wendi went to the crime scene. The patrol officer identified her and the vehicle she was in. I want to say her cell tower was, her cell phone was pinging off of the cell tower. She 100% went to the crime scene. Wendi could not help herself. And it's been said that Wendi is a terrible liar, and under pressure, she doesn't do well. So I don't think they wanted Wendi to know too much. However, Wendi knew that Dan was going to be murdered around the time of her going to the liquor store to buy a bottle of bullet bourbon for a stock the bar party. Okay, fine. She 100% drives past the crime scene and does not even flinch or worry about her children because she knows her children are not in the home. But you would not have known that. Like if I'm separated from my spouse and I have an ex-husband and my children could potentially be in that house, I am going to find out what is going on over there, even if it's not at his house specifically, even if it's just in the area. I want to know for my own sake that my children are okay and they're not involved in the crime or the incident that may have occurred, because you don't know if it's a crime, you don't know what could have happened. But 100% Wendi knew, and 100% she could not resist herself.
Murder was taking place.
She pulled up to the crime scene tape, Dr. Adelson.
She didn't pull up to the crime scene tape. She was driving down the street and then had to make a U-turn. It was blocked off. But she wasn't going to.
She couldn't help herself.
Nobody knew a murder was going to take place.
She exposed you all to some degree by those actions, didn't she?
No, not at all.
And then she threw you under the bus in her interview, didn't she?
Then nobody knew a murder was going to take place.
She knew her husband had just been shot, and they were asking her who would want him dead, and she said your name. Are you mad about that?
No, she said a lot of people's names.
Well, she said yours in the first 25 pages of a 5-hour interview. Isn't that true?
I wasn't there for the interview.
But you've reviewed it in preparation for your trial, haven't you?
I actually don't know if I've seen her interview.
She's cooking him. 100% Wendi threw Charlie under the bus when the investigators asked during the interrogation, would there be anyone that would want to harm Dan Markel? And she says Charlie. She says Charlie straight up. She cannot. Wendy's a horrible liar. I'm surprised she did as well as she did on the stand, to be honest.
There was a lot of questions of you about, didn't you do this murder with Wendi? Doesn't the state think you did this murder with Wendi? Are you familiar with your charges in this case?
Yes, I'm very familiar with my charges.
Right. And who are you alleged to have done this murder with?
I'm alleged to have done this murder with my sister, my mom, and my dad.
Would it refresh your recollection to review a copy of the indictment in this case?
I'm a slow reader, but I can read it if you want.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Right?
This is the official charging document in your case, Dr. Adelson. What does it say in reference to who you are alleged to have committed the murder with?
Yeah, so we're going to pause it here really quick because this is about the, we have about an hour left, so we will continue the cross-examination in the next one. I think Charlie he's trying his best. He's trying his best. He has some good moments where he stops himself from talking, but you're trying to defend yourself from a murder which you did commit, which you did hire for, and you're trying to create this story behind it, which is nonsensical, which we all know that. But it's entertaining. It's entertaining to watch, and it's entertaining to see someone try to weasel and squirm their way through a lie. So we will continue. We'll pick it up in the next one. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and joining for this, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.